Hey, welcome back. My name is Radgoon, and today we're going to be going over my top 10 pieces of lost media. Now, these are in no particular order. These are just 10 pieces of lost media that I happen to find really interesting and wanted to share with you too. Although I did save the best for last, so stick around for that. Oh, and these are going to range from like completely lost to actually one of them has been found recently, and everything else in between. Number 10. Ricky's Room. So Ricky's Room was a low-budget children's show, very briefly aired on PBS from 1999 to 2000. It was basically like kind of a rip-off of Barney. It was about a singing blue dinosaur with a bunch of mascot friends and kids to go on like educational adventures with. There was nothing too deep to it. Honestly, I think the budget was just too low and the show was dropped. But I do remember seeing a few episodes of this as a kid, so I thought it was pretty cool to rediscover this show. There was reportedly only 39 episodes of Ricky's Room, with only 6 of those being found. The titles of those being The Achu Zoo, Career Day, Dump Truck Detectives, The Tallest Tower, Storytime, and Community Helpers. Number 9. Minecraft Lost Versions. So Minecraft, being one of the biggest games ever made, has gone through many versions since its creation in 2011. It's had ports to basically every playable device that I can think of. A few examples being Minecraft PI Edition, a free version of Minecraft for the Raspberry Pi where survival mode and mobs are disabled.
Today, Junior!
And there's also, for some reason, included Saya and Flowers. There's also Minecraft Pocket Edition, which I played a ton of as a kid, but has since been replaced by Minecraft Bedrock Edition, which is much more well known. The biggest difference for Minecraft Pocket Edition has to be the Nether Reactor. The Nether Reactor was this weird kind of like blue and yellowish block, and you had to make this structure around it and tap it to enter the quote-unquote nether. And basically what that did was spawn you in like a Dollar Tree version of the nether, where it was like this netherrack room around you, and it spawns zombie pigmen. And as you start to kill the zombie pigmen, random items will spawn. I believe I remember it being like cactus, glowstone, maybe like nether quartz or something like that. And this also included the original stonecutter. And there's been, for PC and Mac, so many versions of Minecraft that have been lost. I'll actually have a list scrolling right now of all the different versions that have just been kind of lost to time. Most of them aren't very different. Most of them are kind of just minor updates, but have been a few. I'll put pictures of all the items that have kind of changed throughout the years with these small lost updates. Number 8. So Gibby was another potential spin-off of iCarly, kinda like Sam and Cat, which also did not work out too well for them, that was supposed to release in 2012. Noah Monk would have been back in his role as Gibby Gibson, but unfortunately, or fortunately for Noah, the series was not picked up by Nickelodeon, despite the pilot being quite funny, according to this tweet by Dan Schneider. I also did actually find a script for the pilot episode. I'll flip through a few pages of that just to show everyone. Seems it was probably just gonna be like the typical, Dan Schneider humor from the early 2010s. But back to what I was saying about, was he actually had a really weird relationship with his character Gibby. He kind of felt like he was the butt of the joke, which yes, kind of was the point. That didn't translate very well into his real life. With fan interactions and his own self-image, he's gone on multiple times in interviews to say that he is very glad to have dropped the Gibby character, which good for him, let the man move on to better things. Also, Dan Schneider is a creep, so there's another reason where I'm kind of glad for Noah to not be working with Dan anymore. With Dan telling kids to like send him feet pics and everything. Guy's a freak. But yes, that was Gibby, the unaired iCarly spinoff. Number 7. Waluigi's Foot Fault. Waluigi. What? Waluigi's Toenail Clipping Party, also known as Waluigi's Footfall, was a real Flash game developed by Nintendo in 2000. The game was made to promote Mario Tennis for the N64 and was discovered in a Nintendo Power magazine. In this game, I repeat, in this real licensed Nintendo game, the player is tasked with clipping Waluigi's toenails and catching them in a jar to score points. There's actually no footage of this game, probably for the better. Due to it, I believe it was played on like Flash or some sort of older game engine that you can't really use anymore. But yeah, so weird. I don't know what this has to do with the Mario Tennis on the N64. Waluigi's nasty toenails. I don't know. But I just found this one so funny I had to share it with you. Number 6. I Heart Tuesdays. I Heart Wednesdays was an unfinished animated series set to air on Cartoon Network around the 2012 to 2013 area and was actually produced by R&B singer Neo. Oh, and also it was said to be made by Neo for his sister, which I thought was kind of cool. But ultimately the show never aired, and there's not a lot known about it other than this artwork that I found online. This most likely was because of the whole plot of the show changing mid-production. The first version of the show was about a 16-year-old girl who inherits the curse of her bloodline and is forced to save the world from an unspoken evil every Tuesday. The show was then changed pretty drastically to the second version of the plot, which was going to be about two teenage twins who were direct descendants of two Greek gods that were cursed by Zeus for being childish and irresponsible. So these two teenage twins also have to save the world from an unspoken evil every Tuesday because of this for the rest of their lives, on top of being high school students. But like I said, there was not much information on this show. It was just pretty interesting cartoon idea by Neo that never came to light, and it was removed from Cartoon Network's upcoming shows, kind of like quietly removed in 2013, just suggesting that the show was cancelled. Number 5. Banjo X. So, Banjo X was set to be a remake of the original Banjo-Kazooie that Rareware Entertainment were developing for the Xbox in 2005. In an effort to surprise players who were familiar with the original Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo X was going to be advertised as a straightforward remake of the original. In reality, it would change as the game kind of went on, and the characters would kind of do like a fourth wall break and become more aware that they were in a remake, and they would start to be like, hey, we've been here before, sort of thing, and they would change their behavior accordingly. Sounds like a pretty cool idea, honestly, but unfortunately it was cancelled and later became Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. Banjo X was never released, but I did find some models of characters that would have been in the game. I'm not too familiar with Banjo-Kazooie, but I believe these characters are reoccurring in the game series, but these are some like animations that would have been specifically for Banjo X. Number 4.
Hotdog TV!
So Hotdog TV was one that I actually very well remember when I used to watch Cartoon Network all the time. Hotdog TV was a series of 1-minute shorts in between shows that featured hot dog puppets, only airing during the summer of 2010. Very little is known about the show, other than the fact that 12 episodes of it were made. The names and air dates of 4 of them are Arg, Fiendish Footlong, Truth or Dare, and Put Me In Code. A screenshot for the Arg short can be seen on a page for a compilation of short films titled Short Stack Family Films, which included the short in it. But unfortunately, the short film compilation itself has also been missing and lost. On November 8th, 2019, a YouTube user by the name of Fry Letterman uploaded a VHS rip of the Fiendish Footlong episode. However, the beginning was cut off. But on April 22nd, 2022, the same user re-uploaded the short from the same VHS, but this time in better quality using a better setup. And that is the only footage we have of Hotdog TV, and to be honest, that's the only episode that I can clearly remember, so the rest of them have unfortunately been lost for now. Number 3. Mcdonald's DS Game. This one has actually recently been found, so I guess this one is no longer lost media. But it's very interesting anyway, the story of how it was found. So the McDonald's training game was developed with the purpose of training McDonald's employees in Japan.
Move on to Japan, because what happens if you put the world's best-selling handheld game machine in the world's biggest burger chain? Well, according to McDonald's Japan, you get a great way to teach staff members.
A quarter pounder with cheese. You can also learn how to cook fries and clean your workstation.
Due to the fact that very few had heard of or owned the game, it was considered a piece of lost media for nearly a decade. The game released in 2010 throughout several McDonald's locations in Japan and was not sold in retail, making it even more rare. It trained employees through the use of quizzes and puzzles on how to operate the restaurant. McDonald's Japan intended for the game to be used in all 3,700 locations across Japan, giving 2 DS consoles to each store. The game had a budget of about 200 million yen, an estimated 1.7 million US dollars. And the rarity of this game led to it being very sought after in the video game collection community. In December 2018, a user by the name of Code 1038 would write a blog post about the game, claiming to have the cartridge, but could not play the game due to a password protection. People jumped on this right away, and they tried to urge him to share the ROM file online for everyone to play, and maybe figure out how to get past the password protection, but he would not. He didn't want to. I think he was afraid of legal action again from either McDonald's or Nintendo or something, because you're not supposed to share games online for free for everyone to play. But for a long time, this was the closest anyone had gotten to actually cracking the case on this McDonald's DS game. In June 2020, a seller by the title of Nenvada_0122 listed a copy of the game in 2 McDonald's DS systems with the passwords for about 345,678 yen, approximately 3,300 US dollars. And it was actually purchased by a YouTuber by the name of Nick Robinson. On August 30th, 2020, user Code 1038 uploaded uploaded to YouTube a video of the game's full playthrough, after getting the password through looking through the game's coding. Shortly after, Nick Robinson and Twitter user, oh man, I might butcher this name again. Oh my god, I misspelled it. SCZTHER collaborated and uploaded the contents of the game to make the game public for everybody. So yes, you can actually play the infamous McDonald's training DS game yourself if you would like to. Number 2. Big Beast Quintet.
On the Lord, here Nick. On the Lord, here Nick. On the Ricky Ticky Low, while living #1 Nickelodeon.
Big Beast Quintet was created by Janet Asfer and George Evelyn of Colossal Pictures on the 1990s Nickelodeon bumper that you just saw. An idea was then pitched to make these characters into a full-fledged show, due to people being already familiar with them. And the idea, I guess, being they already know these characters, why not make a show that will be even more successful? But unfortunately, the pilot never aired, but it was described to have the same sort of silly, fun Nickelodeon feel. Despite all that, it was still determined to not be funny enough to be picked up as a TV series. The show would have been based around the 5 characters who lived in the city of Animatropolis, where they worked as news reporters for their angry boss Nero Zero, who was also described to have an angry, nice switch on his head of some sort. But it was determined that the concept of having a mean, angry boss, along with news reporters and fake news, was not something that kids at the time would relate to. I feel like just maybe they were a little bit ahead of their time with the angry boss idea. Maybe if they had just waited around for Cartoon Network, they could have taken regular spot.
Pops, you're coming with me. And you 2 idiots, if this isn't cleaned up when I get back, you're fired!
Number 1. Dark Temptation Game Saga. So this one I found to be really funny. So we've all seen the video of the Chocolate Man for Axe, right? Yeah, apparently he was so popular that they made him into a little flash game. There's not a lot of information about this or like what the game actually like consisted of. There was a little bit of footage of it, and it just looks like you play as the chocolate man and like find ways to get away from these women chasing you because you just smell so good. Yeah, and this game was playable through the Axe website at one point, which was actually found on the Wayback Machine, but no one was able to play it, once again due to it being like a flash game and super outdated, and it just does not run anymore. I believe it was run on like Flash and Unity web player or something like that. But yeah, a lot of people find this guy really creepy. I kind of agree in a way, but I find him to be very funny, and I thought this was really entertaining. They made a video game about him. So yes, those were my top 10 pieces of lost media. I really hope you guys enjoyed. I had a lot of fun researching this video. I definitely plan to make more like this. I really enjoy like lost media, anything like a little bit disturbing, sort of anything in that realm. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like or a comment. Anything helps. I do plan on making like maybe a little bit of like vlog style content, maybe like some mukbangs, gameplay. You know, I want to do everything, but all of that I want to put like a twist of creepy horror onto it. Lots of fun stuff coming in the future. Yes, until next time, see you guys later.